Hello, everyone, and welcome back to episode 40 of our Journeyman series here on Football Coach College Dynasty. If you have not watched last episode, please pause this video, hit Control T, pull up the previous vid, and you will see a championship run where we take on all comers and just blow them all out, really. Very excited that we were able to win the championship in year one at Bama. The lack of SEC championship appearance is a bit annoying, going to be honest, but small potatoes compared to hoisting the big trophy. Now, the problem with being a team as good as Alabama is, when I came in, is that everyone and their brother wanted playing time. I have had none of my own recruits even be on the team yet, outside of some red shirts. So it's just a whole thing, really. The problem I'm currently dealing with is we have 20 open scholarships before the transfer portal opens, which is quite a big number. It's the biggest that's ever been. So today's video, we are going to go through some of the decisions I made regarding players I'm allowing to transfer, some guys I'm making promises to, some guys I am paying a lot of money to. I only made one cut from my roster, and that was my third kicker because I don't need three kickers. And Norwood is good enough where he should play elsewhere. So let's go into the transfers really quick. So we had 17 potential transfers. Let me run through the 10 that are leaving. The top in terms of overall are two depth wide receivers, safety Adrian McNeil, who the whole season barely had any production. And then you can see here he only had three catches the entire regular season, but then in the playoffs, he just caught some balls, got multiple touchdowns, including a 45-yard touchdown, which, to be fair, was pretty decisive against USC. But nonetheless, we have younger receivers that are going to be pushing for playing time. Adrian was one of the ones that we could move off of. Similarly, with sophomore wide receiver Julio Khalil, who only was targeted twice the whole season. Granted, one of those targets led to a 41-yard touchdown. So he'll have that from his highlight reel. And then defensive lineman, safety Eric Bass, who we're letting go. He did have a couple tackles for loss and a pressure this season, but really the only thing good about him is his 91 block shed. He has a D plus potential, so that strength likely isn't getting better. We're going to let him walk. The one that I'm just annoyed about from a personal level is freshman Christopher Bonds, who obviously redshirted this year. He wants to transfer for more playing time. I am letting him go. I acknowledge he is a good corner. Like 93 speed and 90 man coverage will get you a pretty long way. However, he can't really tackle. His IQ still isn't crossed 70 yet after development period with A plus potential. His zone coverage is even worse. I have other corners that do what he does. I'm just annoyed that I'm losing what's going to be a redshirt freshman with A plus potential. So we do get 240,000 in NIL money back out. Safety Hector McCullum, he was a depth safety for us. Got a couple interceptions, got a sack. Very good in coverage, not a good tackler or very athletic, but pretty decent safety. However, if we were to keep him, he would just be the fourth safety again next year, and we would be back in the same spot. So, quarterback Parker Porter is a depth QB for us, redshirt freshman. He's not very good. His IQ is 87. I'll take that. But his accuracy is a 70, and he has a D minus potential. So let that one go. Offensive lineman Jeffrey Sims, redshirt sophomore. He is a five-star offensive lineman. who put up pretty good numbers this year, 7 pancakes, and didn't allow a single sack. His run block is a 69. His pass block is barely any better. And the strength of an 82 isn't really high enough for me to justify keeping him, considering those blocking numbers. Running back Gage DeCinto, he was a JUCO running back that the AI brought in because I guess they didn't have enough power backs. I already have 3 in my running back room before Gage even walked in, and he's not going to play next year. So I figure I might as well let the JUCO guy, test the waters, quote unquote, and then play with another school because 89 ball security will get you a long way, but his speed's a 72, his strength is a 66. It's not a great combination. Linebacker Omar McDaniel, redshirt freshman, just your classic jack of all trades, kind of a master of block shedding. I had half an idea to keep McDaniel and move him to defensive line. However, he wanted 40% of snaps or $700,000. And on my D line list right now, he would be like all the way down here below redshirt freshmen Flippy Grant and Darian Pitts. So I figure that's not worth that much investment. And so we are going to let McDaniel walk. And then our final player transferring is offensive lineman Roy Hicks, who, similar boat to Jeffrey Sims above him, he's not a great blocker. His speed's even worse. We're going to let him go. So those are the 10 players leaving. I think if I were to like wave a magic wand and keep someone without having to promise anything, it would probably be Christopher Bonds just because of that potential in the investment. Other than that, I'm not too broken up about losing any of these men. We are getting almost $700,000 in NIL money back, which isn't nothing. So let's talk about the 7 players that I'm convincing to stay. The first few are obvious. Marvin Wall, who redshirted this year, I promised him to play in 50% of snaps. There is a non-zero chance he is our wide receiver 1 next year. We're only retaining really 2 other wide receivers that got production last year, and Marvin Wall right now is as good as one of them, and potentially with a development hit will be better than the other. He's 88 speed, 88 evasion, 88 catching. Everything's good, no complaints. Tight end Cade Baxter, who is a JUCO guy, I redshirted. I am going to move him, I think, to offensive line and accept the fact that his strength is just bad. Whereas, although, I mean, look, his catching is an 81, his route running is an 80, his blocking numbers are an 85 apiece. That puts him amongst the top of my offensive linemen in terms of blocking. My hope is by moving him to O-line, his strength will get a pretty big boost. And I promised him 30% of snaps, which he will get, especially because we're losing a couple of offensive linemen around him. Kicker Abraham High, we are keeping. Santiago graduated, and I need a new kicker. Abraham is that kicker. He's got 81 kick power, 88 accuracy already. He'll do just fine. My promise to him was to play in 8 games, which obviously he'll get. So those are the easy kind of top 3 ones. Then I've promised redshirt freshman wide receiver Carson Tam, who is another one of the depth guys, that he will get 25 targets. Right now, he's penciled in as my wide receiver 4, maybe 5 if other development stuff happens. He has 94 speed and 91 catching. So if he's moved anywhere up in the depth chart, he should get a lot of balls thrown his way because of that speed. 25 targets might be a little hard to hit if he's a 5th wide receiver, but we'll see how all of that shakes out. And then, if any of the decisions I've made come back to bite us, it's this pairing where I promise Tam 25 targets and I pay Avery Leonard $1.5 million. Avery Leonard is similar to Marvin Wall in that very well balanced. Speed's an 85, catching's an 86. He could and should contribute However, one of these two is going to kind of be the odd man out fifth wide receiver. And that could get a little ugly where either Leonard will demand a transfer again or Tam won't get his targets. I'm honestly perfectly fine if Tam doesn't get his targets and I take a 6 integrity hit because by default, I'm going to get integrity back from these three all succeeding as long as they're healthy. There is a little bit of risk there, but I chose to take the reward of having a very young wide receiver room that's just going to get better and better. And then finally, the two other players I'm paying to stay, redshirt freshman linebacker Guadalupe Hale, who I think is on paper not up to SEC level. I think that's fairly obvious. Most of the defensive stats are mid high 70s, not particularly quick or strong. I am bringing him back because I could move him to D line and be happy with it. I could keep him at linebacker and be happy with it. He's not terrible in coverage. The A potential is solid. That flexibility, I think, is worth keeping. He is going to get $800,000, which isn't nothing, but I think the upside and the flexibility is certainly worth it. And then finally, the last player we are paying is redshirt sophomore Jorge Peters, who's a defensive lineman that I believe is on track for a pretty big development hit. If you look at his development gains since redshirting, his strength's gone up by 7, tackling hasn't really moved, block shedding hasn't really moved. However, he also hasn't played a lot. He only played in 3 games up until this season. So I think now that he got a little bit of playing time under his belt, he should have a big development. And my defensive line room isn't great, that it'd be worth seeing if Jorge Peters could take that next step. It's $700,000 to keep him. The other part of this calculus is if I want to bring in a transfer at either Jorge Peters or Guadalupe Hale's level, it's going to cost me about the same as 700, 800,000, maybe a bit more. So I felt that trade-off was worth it. I doubt I'm going to regret any of these. Maybe the Carson Tam, Avery Leonard situation gets a bit awkward, but other than that, no real complaints. And then, like I said, the only cut I'm making is to redshirt freshman Aiden Norwood, who has F plus potential, which is worse than Pedro Pardo's, and thus he is getting cut. I was tempted to keep him because 84 kick power isn't nothing, but Abraham High is better already. And since he's going to be our starter, I need to move off of one of these two guys. This is what the wide receiver room looks like currently. Mikey Hunter up top, David Sheffield at 2, Marvin Wall at 3, and then with McNeil and Khalil going, Tam and Leonard move up. Francis Mack is going to be there for depth, and then Francisco Askew will redshirt. That is set. I literally cannot add anything else to this room without chaos and everyone threatening to transfer. So that's my wide receiver room at the moment with all those changes. Okay. Now it is time to address the elephant in the room. We have almost 20 open scholarships. We have 19 scholarships available. We have 13 million in NIL after investing a little over 2 million to recruits and a little over 6 million to convince various players to stay, whether they were going to declare for the draft or transfer out of our program. We're getting a little bit back, just under 700,000. It's not a lot of money, especially if I have to bring in 19 transfers and each one is going to want, 700,000 to $1 million. So there might be some shakiness there. In terms of team needs, let's be frank, we just won the national championship. And while we did lose a decent amount of contributing players to the draft and graduation, we're not really losing any contributors to players being transferred. Like the highest snap percentage is offensive lineman Jeffrey Sims was 17%. None of these guys were real impact players. That said, we kind of got to keep this shit moving because one of the issues that we could have ran into last year is just we had non-existent depth. We're losing a lot of those depth guys now. So hopefully that won't make a bad situation worse. But those are my decisions. Let us advance the week to the draft and see which Alabama players were selected. Do, 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 do. 10 players from Alabama were selected. Round 1 for Charlie Porter, defensive lineman, and Mark Core. Round 2, Reed Archer and Thomas Chaudhry. And finally, Sawyer Cox getting in just under the gun. Round 3, Leon Wilkerson, Javier Young. Round 5, Ernesto Howell. Round 6, Mitchell Grace and Jaden Page. Jaden Page not going until the 6th round. Whoever drafted him got a steal. A steal. Sawyer Cox in round 2 also. Solid decision. Really quick, let me check in on Fresno State. Camden Gibson goes 1, Ingram 2, Aldridge 3. Remember when I was debating not bringing Aldridge back? That would have been a heck of a decision, huh? Harry Bell goes 5, Jermaine Pugh and Pereira 6, Maddox Shields 7, Philip Ramsey 7. That also means that Marlon Madden is still on Fresno State. That is awesome. Transfer portal, we'll look at that in a second. Hall of Fame inductees, Camden Gibson goes to Fresno State. Ring of Honor inductees, let's see who the AI put in. Mark Core, just him? Let me think here. Oh yeah, I also want to see who did Fresno State put in their Ring of Honor? Gibson and Devin Allen. Is there anyone else I'd add to this list? How long was Jaden Ingram? Oh yeah, he was the JUCO guy. Right. 87 tackles was crazy. I think in terms of Ring of Honor for Bama, Thomas Chaudhry, I almost want to add just because of his insane production this year, especially from a returner standpoint. But other than that, I don't know if anyone is. I mean, Charlie Porter, get him in the Ring of Honor. Look at these accolades. Come on. What are we doing? Yeah, Reed Archer. Interesting that Reed Archer put up. Well, I guess he did have double-digit tackles and sacks. How is the AI using him where he gets no sacks? I'm not going to ask questions. I'm not going to ask questions. All right, let us advance to the transfer portal where we have 19 scholarships that we have to figure out. Oh boy. First thing I do want to do before even looking at transfer players, is there like any recruits that have gone on sign? Probably not 1 stars. How far behind am I on like 3 stars? If I want this guy, how behind am I? Yeah, I'm too far behind. So let's drop that to 2 stars then. Are there any like recruits that for whatever reason would be worth taking a shot on? The answer insofar seems to be no. Do I want Skylar Childress? I'm going to be honest. No. But it would be kind of fun to see how this guy develops, being like mid 60s at everything. You know what? Screw it. He's got B plus potential. Get in the building. All right. I just wanted to see if there are any recruits worth it, and the answer seems to be no, not really. Okay, so in terms of positional needs, I think right now, in terms of starters, we only have two. Firstly is tight end, because that operates under the assumption that Cade Baxter is moving to offensive line. And I can pair another tight end with Tony Allison because I don't think Patrick Hobson will be ready. So tight end, I think, is one position where we need to get a starter. The second one is defensive line. This is operating on the assumption that one of Leo Ball or Lawrence Mosley will redshirt. But even if they don't, then it's probably Dingle 1, maybe Ballard 2, Mosley 3, 4. I still need someone in that 4-5 gap because unless Felipe Grant or Jorge Peters get the good development I hope they do, we're kind of in trouble on the back end of our starting D line, especially because I play 6. So that's really the other big position. So before I do anything else, let us look at tight end. Also, there was a recent update to this game, and the athlete position has been added. At the moment, no players are athletes. I don't know if that's because it's the transfer portal or if it's because you have to start a new save for them to congregate, or because they were added after recruiting. It's probably that. All right, let's look at tight end really quick. Give me just overall, just straight overall, any tight ends that are great. Ooh, Eli Metcalf. How far behind am I? Oh, so far. Never mind. All right, let's do interest. Peyton Cook, I would be 1,500 behind. Oh, boy. We seem to have an issue. It's called no tight ends want to come here because they know there's no playing time. But they don't know that Kate Baxter's moving to O-line. Jordan Best wouldn't be bad. He's got decent athleticism, solid catching ability. There's another one I saw, Seth Bland. He would be good for the offensive line, but I'm pretty far behind on him. How far behind am I in Jordan Best? 1,000? I think I can make that up. Let's add Jordan Best, and he'll be our tight end target. Defensive line. This should be easier. Yeah, now we're talking. I would prefer somebody younger. Like I see No Bird down there. Silas Woodson ain't bad. Ooh, Hudson Stubbs. He could do work for 1 year. Luke Parker is also really good. See, I like No Bird, but I'm trying to avoid the high strength, high block shedding, horrendous everything else. I think Luke Parker could be a good guy to get. Did he play any at Kentucky? Yes. Looks like he did pretty okay. Not a huge sack guy, but decent tackles. What about Hudson Stubbs at UAB? Oh, yeah. Much better production. Yeah, so it's a question of do I want Stubbs for a year or Parker for 2? Let me just remind myself really quick. Defensive line. I have defensive line. So Dingle or Ballard are gone after next year. End of list. So yeah, honestly, bringing in a junior or a guy who's going to be a senior isn't the worst plan in the world. But honestly, I'd rather bring in Luke Parker, who would be on the same track as my JUCO guy. How far behind am I? Oh, I'm ahead by 700. Okay. All right, there we go. So Luke Parker, Jordan Best, they're going to fill that role at those starting positions. So that's 3 out of 19 done. At this point, let me look at transfers who just really want to come here. Let's do this. A potential freshman. Okay. Because right now, if I want to rebuild that depth, I think bringing in high potential guys that are going to be freshmen or sophomore, or that are going to be like sophomores next year, wouldn't be the worst idea in the world. The problem is Asher Ward just is not good at the game of football, but you can join to the list. The guys that want to be stars, there's no real point. Chase Jean, are we thinking, or Gene? It's Bama, Gene. Not bad tackling. I'll just take a look at that later. Alan Victor wants to be a star, and to be fair, he's not that bad. Javier Dunham, redshirted at Wake Forest. Redshirted at Wake Forest. I mean, at that point, all I'm banking on is that speed developing. So I'll add him and dump Asher Ward. Think that's a pretty good trade off. Ben Pitt, oh, 55 run block. That's abysmal. Oh, 54 pass block. The name Nathaniel Mosley sounds familiar, but I might just be thinking of something else. I mean, at that point, I'm banking on development and A potential. That's fine. Henry Phillips, I doubt he played at TCU. No, he didn't. How many? Yeah, I've signed 3 linemen already. I don't really want to sign that many more. Ooh, Edwin Hutchinson actually be a really good get because right now we don't have like a quote unquote bad or average depth safety. I just have guys that are all going to want to play. So bringing in a guy like Hutchinson, who is, don't get me wrong, he's worse than Hector McCollum, but he's not bad in coverage. The speed needs to be better. That wouldn't be the worst idea in the world. I am also acknowledging this is going to nuke my recruiting class score because of the amount of 3-star and 2-star training. I don't care about that. Right now, ooh, Eric Clemento would be solid. 81 speed, man coverage could use a little bit of work. He can't tackle, but that's fine. Joe Matthews ain't bad. I mean, he is. Let's be clear. But I like him more than Jace. So let's drop Jace, get Joe Matthews. I doubt he played at Arizona. He played in one game and he got one pressure. Fredo Parra wants to be a star. That's not happening here. All right, so we're now in the period where I'm behind on these guys. Before I talk to him, Pablo Wright. One thing I do wish I could see from this screen is how their ratings have increased year after year in development. I would like to see that information personally. I don't think Pablo is really where I want to go. Gage wants to be a star. I got bad news. How many corners did I sign? 3. Yeah, okay. I don't want to go after too many. Oh, this got 103 zone. I'll let the max schools fight for you. That's crazy. Jordan Carter wants to be a star. Ooh, a quarterback. Dominic Andrews, redshirt freshman, did not play at Arkansas. I love that Arkansas paid this guy 2.7 million in just 0 games. Nah. Quinn Hughes, no thank you. Rylan Andrews, no thank you. I have enough power backs. Yeah, now we're getting into players that are kind of good enough that they should just contribute. Ooh, Marquise Craig. A potential, low 70s blocking and strength. However, OSU identified him as good, and I'm going to trust the OSU AI. Is that a mistake? Probably. Landon Heath also looks pretty good at linebacker. I'm only at 10. Oh boy. All right, so so that's my depth. So in terms of depth on offense, I'm getting running back, two offensive linemen. Defensively, two linebackers, a corner, and a safety. I think that's fine. I really like David Heath the more I look at him. He's terrible in coverage, but that's fine. So now I think we pivot to just impact transfers that are preferably loyal, so I won't have to worry about them transferring, but it also seems like a oxymoron. Is there anyone? Yeah, let's look at this. Who am I ahead on right now? Lots of defensive linemen, as we previously discussed. Alexander, whoa, 99 strength. I mean, he would be great, but I'll add him to the list just because we don't really need another top safety. I don't need another wide receiver. That is an insane spread of ratings there on the quarterback. All right. Who is most interested in me? Give me the hundreds. So to be fair, no, I don't need a top line. I don't need a top running back. I think at this point with running back next year, I'm banking on Jackson Conrad getting a really good development hit and rolling the dice. So I didn't lose any offensive linemen to graduation, which in theory means that my O line will just get better. I keep coming back to Hudson Stubbs, but I mean, the benefit of bringing in Stubbs is I would be able to redshirt both the JUCO and the big five-star D lineman. That might not be the word. Do either of them want to be stars? No, Leo does. And Lawrence. Okay, nope. I'll just hit the remove button on that. Oh boy, that could have been a catastrophe. Good thing I checked. All right, back to interest. Edgar Chandler is also really good. How do you do at Cal? 24 pressures, 11 tackles for loss. Good God. Yeah, I think I'm gonna have a really hard time getting to 19. Because the other issue is the NIL part of this, where I don't, you know, if I spend, odds are I'm gonna have to spend like all of my NIL money bringing these guys in. And then if they want to transfer, after a year because they don't play, because my starters are so good, I am back to exactly the same spot I was before. Joel Bellamy, I don't hate. I don't know if we have a role for him, but I'll add him to the target list just because. Looks like a lot of safeties when it come to my team, which is understandable considering the group I have, but still. Jeez, that's a coverage guy if ever I've seen one. Anthony Cimentel. What's my corner room look like right now? I got Lucas, Frazier, Payne, Milton at 4, Damian Wade at 5. That's not really where I want to live now that I think about it. I think, yeah, actually, we should bring in a corner. Anthony, welcome to the party. Yeah, I mean, because with Anthony, I'm getting a guy who's really quick, He's good in both man and zone. The tackling of 76, honestly, is fine. The issue is just the 63 IQ. How was he in coverage at Nebraska? Oy, that's not great. Iowa State, he was really bad in coverage. Last year in Nebraska, he got a little better, but he was also targeted 66 times. That might not be the route we want to go. How dare you transfer away from Old Dominion after they gave you everything? Colton Holder also isn't bad, and he's been better in coverage. What are the stat differences? 90-101, 89-88. So I'm taking a big zone hit, but I'm getting a guy with better IQ, worse tackling. Alan Marino from LSU. Oh, God. Michigan State, ULM, then LSU. Pick a team, sir. Andre Sharp. Oh, we're so far behind on him. OSU didn't play him. Of course they didn't. Yeah, I think we'll go for Anthony and see how that shakes out. I'm gonna look at only guys with A potential, please. Yeah, now we're back down to this list again. All right. For the heck of it, only Alabama transfers, please. I'm trying to increase that ratio of Alabama kids in my program. For a second, I thought that was 73 man, 82 zone, and I was like, ooh, but then I saw in reality he has 49 zone coverage, and that is with 2 development hits because he's a redshirt freshman. What was his zone as a recruit? I almost want to sign him so I can answer that question. That is so terrible. Wow. Yeah, I think we're going to have a real problem getting to 19. And that's even if we get all the 19 guys. We're just going to have to take a inhuman amount of walk-ons, I think. Edwin Farrell at defensive line? No, he's too small. 238 pounds. He would get a nerf. Jerry McKee at offensive line. How far am I behind Ole Miss? Oh, so far behind. Never mind. Never mind. All right, the Bama kids. They're not there. They do not exist. What are other positions where I could bring in some help? QB. No, not really. I think QB, we're going to look at recruiting decently next year. Running back, I think with running back, we're just banking on Conrad and Dixon to getting a good development. Wide receiver, we're set. Tight end, I'm already bringing another guy in. Offensive line, I'm already bringing in some guys. D line, I think we're okay. Yeah, part of me just wants to roll with these 13 and accept the fact that we're not going to have a full 85. Let me just get my priority set while I think about it. So my big transfers will go up top. Best, Parker, Alejandro. Bellamy is definitely the last of that group. Anthony, I would put above Parker. So I think those are that's that. And then all the depth I value equally. Let's offer all of them scholarships. Yeah, I think I'm more preferential to just having less than 85. Yeah, 'cause it looks like just based on points. What am I doing? What am I doing? What am I doing? It looks like just based on points, we're going to be able to get a lot of these guys without maybe even offering money, to be quite honest. But because of the transfer NIL penalty, I have to offer the money. Thus is the way of things. So I think what I'll do is I'll advance 1 week just to see where the battles stand, sort out NIL money, and go from there. I think that's my call. Let's see how it works. Advance the week. All right. Am I behind on any of them? Yes, I'm 700 behind on Heath. 1100 on Best. Yeah, Best having so little interest in me hurts. All right. I think I'm bailing on Best. I need another tight end. But not many want to come play football for me. Though maybe that's the argument for keeping Baxter at tight end, to be honest. Because, like, so I don't know if I'll be able to make up 1100. Yeah, and that's the thing. It's not F minus playing time. But because the game is reading Cade Baxter still as a tight end when my plan is moving to O line. So in reality, this is like a beat. How much does he care about money? Extreme. All right. So if I offer him, let's say I offer him his market value of $1 million, that gets me 717. That gets me a 900 point hit. And my best pitch that makes up the difference, and then it's a foot race. Do I think Jordan Best is worth $1 million? I mean, he's not a great catcher, not great speed. If I don't move, so Alejandro gets added to this top five. If I don't move Cade Baxter to O line, that means these four plus Alejandro makes five. Damian Davis is going to be up there. Johnny Ruin is going to be up there. Dylan Reynolds, I don't want to play as a true freshman, but he might. I don't want to play Mitchell Marshall that much because he got us killed last year. Similarly with Jason Drew. And Cade Baxter, I know he can pass block, but the strength is just not there. Best also can't block. Like he has 81 strength, but his blocking is low 60s. Yeah, let's go for it. Let's go for it. And then if we get him, Baxter moves to O line. If we don't get him, say la vie. I get $1 million back and yada yada yada. Okay, so let me do all of my pitches and then spread out the money. I'm just gonna do the minimum percentage to not get the penalty for everyone. Whoops. Yeah, we're gonna get Alejandro, which is also good. Like that'll do. All right, minimum for you, 310,000. Minimum for you, 250. That's also the benefit of going after a lot of these bad overall good potential guys is their market value is going to be pretty low. So in terms of NIL spending, it won't really be that much. And it looks like most of these guys will be able to get anyway. So I won't need to worry about upping the NIL in the future. In the future weeks, I mean. All right. Anthony, 1.2 million. That is an expensive corner for a year. But all right. Oh, that hurts. How much was it? 1.24. Jeez. A million. All right. So all of the minimum is paid out. I have 6.4 remaining. I think I'm also going to grab a break glass in case of emergency tight end. I'm going to be honest. It's not the most inspiring list I've ever seen. Are there any like high potential tight ends out there that would? Nope, it's literally best. Okay. Unsurprisingly, the high potential guys are all grabbed up. Yeah, this is a grim tight end like Kyle Westbrook, who I am 500 points behind currently, could be okay. Please tell me he redshirted. Thank God. Because, like, if he gets a good development hit, his ball skills, his blocking, his speed could all be low 70s as a redshirt freshman. That I can work with. I'll add Westbrook just as a break glass in case of emergency option. How much money? Oh, yeah, nothing. Pennies. 260. Easy. I'm not going to offer him a pitch because I want to see what Oregon or Utah do. Actually, that's a stupid idea in hindsight. Let me take away the offensive coordinator pitch and give it to Westbrook. So that would then mean if we get both Best and Westbrook, Baxter moves to O-line and my tight end depth increases. If I don't get Best, Baxter stays at tight end, I think. O-line from like the 6 to the 8 group might be a bit worse, but bringing in Alejandro Rush to help with that, I think is worth it in the long run. We still have 6 million to spend. Is there any just haymakers I want to go for? Do I go for Rafael Greer, who would be the best running back in my room? If I do go for him, what do I do? Because Middleton just got first team all freshman and he ain't bad. He is loyal though. So he wouldn't threaten to transfer after essentially not playing for a year. Cesar Dixon, I mean, listen, he got 15 touchdowns because he was like our goal line power back guy, which that ain't nothing. But he does only have B minus potential, so he might not develop all that much. Jackson Conrad, I mean, we know is going to be good. So bringing in a guy like Rafael Greer, him and Conrad as a 1-2 punch. I don't, hey, and he'd only be with me for a year. How did he do? No, what the heck? All right, so he played at Notre Dame. He didn't really play at Notre Dame for 2 years. Went to Mizzou, balled out 1,200 yards, 10 touchdowns. Then went to Kansas, balled out 900 yards, 8 touchdowns. All while racking in money along the way. Screw it. Let's offer him how much? 1.2 million. Okay. So that gets me 4,355 points. That should put me ahead of Mizzou. Okay, let's do it. Let's get ambitious. We're now at 15. That's good enough for me. I'm just going to accept the fact we're going to have some open scholarship spots. Which, to be fair, might not be the worst thing in the world because next year's recruiting class is going to need to be huge because the number of seniors I'm going to have. All right, points ahead. How far back are we? Oh boy, I'm still 1,000 behind on best. Okay, let's just do pitches first. I'll sort out money in a second. Mizzou also offered money. Yeah, that's also me getting a little punished there for not contacting Greer week 1. But that's fine. It looks like everyone else we should get Minnesota. Minnesota just offered 1.8 million. I have a hard time imagining they can offer the same. Georgia hasn't offered money for Rush. Okay, let's solidify this first. I'm gonna increase Chris to 10,000 just to make it 1,000,000. I am gonna offer Alejandro an additional up to 1.8 because at this point I have money to burn. I'll get to best in a second, but at this point I have money to burn. 400,000 should be fine. Yeah. Okay. Now let's get to these guys. Anthony. So yeah, I think that's fine. Honestly, like Minnesota would have to offer what 1,200 points, and they've already offered 1.8 million. I think that's okay. All right. Let us now look down here. Firstly, has Troy offered money? They have. Has Iowa State offered money? They have not. So let me up Craig's money a little bit, just by like 300,000. That gets me 1,000. Okay. So I have 3.38 million left for Greer, Heath, Best. I think at this point, I'm going to let Mizzou have David Heath. Realistically, it's not worth investing all that more money in trying to get him when I'm already getting Joe Matthews. So I think we're going to let Mizzou have Heath. So they get to bring their guy home. Okay. Greer and Best. On balance, who do I want more? Probably Greer, because he's going to have more of an impact regardless of everything else that happens. So if I up his money to 2 million, that gets me an 800 point pitch. That means Mizzou would need 500. They probably get that. Let me increase it 1,000. That means they need 800. I think that's okay. And then I just slam the rest of the money into Best. So I'm paying 3 million for this tight end. That seems like a terrible idea. Reset. I think Greer for 3 million, in all honesty, based on how good he's going to be, even though he's here for a year, I think that's fine. Just being honest. And now for Best. This also means we're not going to get Kyle Westbrook unless I offer him more money. I don't really want to do that. I'll do that. If I do 1.75, that gets me 976. I'm not even there yet. Like, my max offer only puts me 200 ahead, which means I'd have to take money away from Greer. If I take away, let's say, 600,000, throw it at Best. That means I am 700 points ahead on Greer, 600 on Best. I'm gonna be honest, I don't care about Best that much. I'm gonna drop 3 million or 300,000, give it back to Greer. So, final counts on the guys I am currently behind on. Oregon would need an 800 point pitch to get Westbrook. Mizzou would need similarly about 850 to get Greer. Mizzou gets Heath. And then Florida would need a 500 point pitch to get Best. I think that's fine. It feels like an overpay for Best. However, I'm also banking on that A minus potential helping him grow. Before I forget, let me drop Heath to the very, very, very bottom. Just so I can click him first. All right, so that's what we're thinking. So that is our NIL money gone. I think we've spent enough to where outside of Marquise Craig, well, no, him we'll get. I think Joel Bellamy is the one that Troy could snipe us. I'm going to be honest, if they do, so be it. Like, we don't need him in the safety room. He'd be really good, but we don't need him. And then these are the ones up in the air. Oh, I need to move Greer up in the priority order. What am I doing? What am I doing? I'll move him up to 4. Okay, that's our list. So we know we're not getting Heath. So max we get 14 and go to 80 out of 85 scholarships. That's where we're at. Let us advance. This has been an hour-long transfer portal. Craziness. All right. Here we go. First things first, Landon Heath, welcome to Mizzou. Okay. Alexandro Rush. Come on down. Did we need to offer the extra money? No, probably not. But we do. We get Rush, who immediately will become like a top 3 offensive lineman for us. He's got 99 strength. Pass blocking is already really good. If that run block could tick up a little bit, that'd be greatly appreciated. 1.8 million for 1 year could be a lot, but he's done very well for himself at New Mexico. I think he's going to be a good get for us, in my humblest of opinions. All right. Jordan Best. Did we get the tight end? Nope. 58 points. Oh, that's annoying. 58. So yeah, in other words, if I kept the NIL ratio what it had been, we get him. But no, Florida found just enough money, literally $62,000, and they get him. Okay. So then that means I think I keep Baxter at tight end. And my like 6 to 8 starting alignment are going to be a little bit worse but that's okay. And we get 2 I think 2.4 for him, if I'm being honest. A bit of an overpay. But we'll see. That one could come back to bite us. Or we could look back and say, why was I about to spend 2.5 million for a guy who's going to be a backup tight end? Those two were both equal statements I could make. Anthony Cimental, we get. Kansas State made a pretty good offer, but yeah, we get the star corner. I think he's immediately going to slide in. Probably is our 3rd, 4th corner. Really balanced in coverage, good tackler. IQ does need some work. He's also, by the way, a 2-star recruit when he came into Iowa State. I'll be really interested to see how he's developed. The other big one outside of Jordan Best, Raphael Greer. Come on down. We get him by 404. All right. We offer 2.7 million to the best running back in the transfer portal. Great ball skills, great athleticism. He's going to be our new goal line guy, certainly. Really excited to get Greer in the building. Sorry, Mizzou. All right, Luke Parker, this defensive lineman, joins us. Hawaii offered $1 million. Yeesh. So we get Luke Parker, who I think is going to be a really good back end starter for us. We might then redshirt one of my two star D line recruits coming in just to see how that shakes out. But really, really good get for us, I think. Strong production at Kentucky as well. He'll do well. Joel Bellamy, Stein's here. Troy only had a little bit of money left. It was not enough. He's just going to be a back end safety. In all honesty, he's not going to play that much. I am a little interested in why he transferred from Auburn with the loyal tag. It's probably because he flat out just never played. But that is something to keep an eye on. He's also from Tuscaloosa. All right, Javier Dunham joins. He is a depth running back through and through. He's only here because his 84 speed, his really good potential. He's going to be a redshirt freshman for us. I doubt he ever plays, to be honest. But good depth to have. Could grow into a decent, gadget running back, but I'm not holding my breath. Nathaniel Mosley joins, offensive lineman, who is here because of his A potential. That's the only reason. If his strength and his blocking explodes, maybe he plays as a junior or a senior. But if he touches the field next year, something has gone horribly wrong. Edwin Hutchinson, come on down, the safety. Who's going to be a redshirt sophomore. He is here just for his coverage ability. I would consider moving him to corner, but his pursuit's horrendous. He's not that quick. I think keeping him at safety is the move. Again, he has the loyal tag. He transferred from Ohio, so odds are he doesn't play. So he might transfer away from us anyway. Eric Clemente, come on down. We barely get him as UCLA put in a very good offer, but we get Clemente, well balanced in coverage, tackling IQ need work, but he's already decently quick. Again, depth corner, good potential, no real concerns there. Next up, linebacker Joe Matthews. Again, New Mexico made a close push. Low mid-70s and a lot of defensive numbers. Not that physically gifted, but, listen, his current ratio is he gets one pressure every game he plays. Pretty good. All right, Marquise Craig signs with us. Iowa State and Minnesota both offered money. Not enough. He's going to be a redshirt sophomore, low 70s in strength and blocking, but he's got a potential. There's a non-zero chance he could play like maybe in a year or so. This is a back end off the bench guy. And then tight end Kyle Westbrook. Oregon offered a decent amount of money. So we get Westbrook, who he is our break glass in case of emergency tight end, as I said when we looked at him. A lot will depend on how he gets in this first development period. Like, he's got mid-high 60s and everything. That's not going to play. He's going to be a redshirt freshman, so he's going to have a lot of development still to come. And then finally, Skylar Childers, the two-star linebacking recruit who is only here because I'm very curious to see what happens when a linebacker with just mid-60s and literally almost every possible defensive stat goes into development. I'm just curious to see what that looks like. Now, I think the good news from all these transfers is we have improved on our depth substantially in terms of potential and in terms of youth, where I have a lot of these guys are going to be redshirt freshmen, redshirt sophomores. Bad news is we miss out on Jordan Best, so our tight end room might get a little shaky. But other than that, I think this is a pretty successful transfer portal window. Our recruiting class ranking is going to get nuked because of how many guys were 2-star and 3-star. Yeah, 3. Yeah, that 2-star alone, I imagine, dropped the average rating quite a bit. So that is what it is. Was it worth it? Who knows? We brought in 12 transfers, by the way. OSU brought in 0. Goose egg. We also only have 79 scholarships, which is kind of hilarious when you think about it. Fresno State, for the record, brought in 5. Cool. All right. Let's advance the week. School updates. We stay at 10 prestige. And we are just going to do what we did last year. We are going to max out all of our different avenues here: facilities, college life, marketing, yada, 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 academics. And then we're just going to slam the rest of the money into NIL. And now we have 13 million left over. Look at how we're balancing these books. Here is the earnings breakdown. We got every single donor goal with exception of not winning the conference, so we lost out on 6.5 million, and we only rushed for 97 yards against Oklahoma, so we missed out on 5.5. We had to pay $4 million in scheduling, so we only made 110 million. Only, he says in quotation marks. All right, booster updates. See if anything changes. I would like another diamond if we're just, if we're offering. Hey, we got a diamond. We lose gold donor Derek Morton, and we bring in Caden Weeks, whose interest is pass defense. So I'm going to be honest, is a little terrifying. So that brings us to 3 diamond donors, 4 gold, and 2 silver. Pretty good spread. All right, realignment is disabled because I like just where all the teams are in this database. As a reminder, our division is the south part of the SEC with Tennessee, Auburn, and Vandy. All right, let's schedule some teams. So I don't really want to play any. I definitely don't want to play Fresno State again. I don't want to play North Carolina again. I'd be down with facing off against Notre Dame. I just don't want that week 1. So for now, I'll just put a placeholder in, let's say Michigan State. I think I'd want it. Can Notre Dame do 10? They can. All right, so Notre Dame will be week 10 because then I can schedule a lot of recruiting visits for there. I don't really need this many home games. So let's have, Baylor could be fun. A rematch against USC from the playoffs could be good. Michigan could be interesting. Let's play Michigan week 4. And then we'll have kind of a gimme game. Well, no. I like doing that in reverse. Hold on. USC. Okay. I'll have a more gimme game like weeks 6 or 5, 7 or 6. The fact that it goes from 6 to 7 back to 7 and 6, I've never seen these like out of order before. Interesting. Do I want home or away? Week 4, I want away. Clemson. Clemson could be an interesting one. Army. Let's bring in Army. So week 1 at Michigan, then SEC play home against Mississippi State and Texas. Week 4 at Army, 5 at Georgia. That'll be a big game. Home against Vandy, week 7 bye. And then at Arkansas, home against Tennessee. Week 10 is home against Notre Dame. Hi, fellas. Week 11 at LSU, home against South Carolina, and then home against Auburn to close. So that gives me 7 home games, 5 away. I doubt I'll have many recruits in these first couple games, but we'll see. In terms of ranked opponents, Michigan, Mississippi State are projected to be ranked. Texas could be ranked when we play them. Georgia's projected. Tennessee, Notre Dame, South Carolina, all are. Pretty good spread. LSU went 4-8 last year. Yeesh. Oh, yeah, that's good. So that means we finish our Notre Dame contract this year, and then we start out new contracts against Army and Michigan. I'll take it. All right. Let us advance the week and advance the year to 2037. We're moving. But I say we're moving. I always see these there's people posting their saves and it's like 2050. And I'm like, man, we're not quite there yet. And I don't have like a definitive endpoint for this series. In all honesty, it may just be when I kind of get bored of it and want a fresh start. But we'll see. Okay, position changes. This is also something new in the update, where now in the positional changes screen, I can see the best fits for each position. For example, if I wanted to move Cade Baxter to offensive line, it would drop his overall all the way down to 73, which I don't really understand. I'm going to be honest with you. It's probably because his strength is a 16. So I kind of like seeing this little breakdown here of where everyone is at. In terms of positional changes, because we didn't get best, I'm going to keep Cade Baxter at tight end. He wants 30% of snaps. He'll get that whether he is the starter or the backup behind Tony Allison. So that part's okay. One thing I am going to do is I'm going to move depth tight end Patrick Hobson to wide receiver. And don't get me wrong, his speed is horrendous. This is well known. However, he's not really a blocker by any stretch of the imagination. And if I'm redshirting Francisco, that means, these are my top 5, and then I'm going to have Francisco and Hobson for depth. I think that's a pretty good spread. Would any of my running backs make good wide receivers? Harrison Shaw. See, but I like where his ball security is at. So I don't really want to mess with that. Do I move Aaron Middleton to tight end? No, he can't catch. That idea was thought of and immediately thrown away. Raphael Greer being an 86 overall tight end is sending me. Yeah, our running back room just got so much better. I might honestly redshirt Elvis DeSantiago because he played as a true freshman last year. So this year, to get that eligibility back, I might redshirt. Other positional changes, I debated moving Guadalupe Hale to D-line. However, I don't think I want to do that because we would have 0 good back-end starters at linebacker. That's not nothing. D-line, I think we're a bit more well-balanced, which is good. Bringing in Luke Parker definitely helped to that, I think. And yeah, I think both Leo Ball and Lawrence Mosley are going to play. And it's going to be these 6 for a D-line. A little unfair to Felipe Grant, but I think these 2 kind of have to play. So Mosley's going to play as a true freshman. Though, do I move him to linebacker? No, man coverage of 50 and speed 65 is grim. Okay, let's do corner and safety really quick. So corners, Lucas, Frazier, Payne, Cimentel, Milton. There's my 5. Damian Wade, I don't think ready is to be a starter. Ezekiel Terrell, I like a little bit better. Clemente is for super depth. Sutton and Yoder redshirt. So I think corner is honestly fine. Safety, I'm going to have this very interesting scenario where I kind of want to play everyone. Trent Butler might redshirt. Do you want to be a star? Scheiße. Hmm. No, I think that still works. I redshirt Butler this year. If he threatens a transfer, I'll promise him more playing time, which he will get because Rasmussen will graduate. So at safety, it's Rasmussen, Wilcox at two, and then either Joe Bellamy or Gilberto Frank, depending on who develops more. Right now, I'm leaning toward Bellamy just from a speed perspective, but they're both pretty solid. And I don't think I want to move either of them to corner. I would rather give like Damian Wade or Terrell those reps. So that part is set. Any O lineman that would randomly make phenomenal tight ends? Johnny, well, I know Johnny because you were a tight end originally. Yeah. My tight end room does look a little grim now. Like if Allison or Baxter get injured, I'm throwing Caden Polk out there for reps. That part does scare me a little bit. But yeah, I mean the other issue I run into is Hobson just can't block. So I'd rather take like a slower depth wide receiver at that point. Okay. I think that's all the changes I want. Let me just do a quick scroll through, see if any D line or linebackers would be worth the flip, but I don't really think so. Maxwell Winters making an 84 overall safety at 266 pounds is just a behemoth of a man. All right. So that's our position changes list. Nothing too crazy, really. So we now have the offseason gains. By bringing in Greer, our dependency on big gains and running back is reduced. I think right now Anthony Burks is penciled in as the starter, but if Jesse Funk explodes in development, he could play. Other than that, I would like our back end depth at defensive line and linebacker to improve a lot. That would make me feel more confident about the rooms overall. Let's see what happens. Let's advance to week to the offseason games. Everybody cross your fingers. Here we go. Anybody else nervous? I just always remember at Fresno State when I was hoping on big games for my star recruit quarterback, and I got hit with a +1. Oh, good times. Good times. Loading. I have a fear we're going to lose our number one uh, defense list. So that says +13. Okay, we're fine at offensive line now. I didn't need to move Baxter. We're okay. All right, let's go through. Quarterback. Okay. Burks is up to, oh boy, Funk. 88, 87, 74. Nah, Burks is still better. Oh, that's insanely harsh on Jesse Funk. He's going to have an 84 overall as a backup. Emmanuel Cole's going to have an 81 overall as a third stringer. Dude, they're both going to want to transfer. Oh, God. We need to bring in a star recruit quarterback. We need to. We need to. Oh, boy. I mean, it's a great problem to have, but like, Funk, genuinely great. Like, his accuracy went up by 10. 10. His speed went up by 7. He's so good. The IQ of 74, don't get me wrong, is grim. Anthony Burks, yeah, his accuracy's up by 9. Good gains. Yeah, so Burks is going to be our starter. Funk the backup. Emmanuel Cole depth. Running back, hit me. I knew it. Middleton jumped Dixon. Oh no, I feared that was going to happen. Dixon's potential went down 2 levels. He had 15 touchdowns. Whatever, it's fine. So Greer went up by 3. That'll do. He's a much better blocker now. Ball security's a 95. Speeds up to low 90s. Conrad got better ball security, better blocking, good speed, good catching boost also. Well, now I have a problem. Now I have a problem. Middleton, 84 speed, 95 ball security. Dixon's the 99. That's going to be tough. Choosing between Middleton or Dixon. One of them's going to play. DeSantiago, by the way, his overall went up by 3. His potential went up 2 levels. He's also going to redshirt this year, which is insane. Oh, no. Harrison Shaw, his potential went down. Okay, that's bad. His potential going down is bad. His ball skills went up a little bit, though, but man, all right, that part's not great. Blake Howell gets a little bit of gains, but nah, his speed didn't move, man. Javier Dunham, who we just brought in, his ball security went down. So help me. Okay, so yeah, big question at running back then. Who is going to be our number 3? Is it going to be Aaron Middleton? Is it going to be Cesar Dixon? That'll be fun. Wide receiver. I have been vindicated on moving Patrick Hobson to wide receiver. I want that known. Strength goes up by 13, route running up by 13, speed by 5. Cool. Cool. So Francisco is going to be an 80 overall when I redshirt him. He'll probably want to transfer, but we'll cross that bridge later. David Sheffield goes up by 5, which is pretty good. 111 evasion is cracked. Marvin Wall. Tell me that doesn't say -1 catching. That's not what that says, is it? That's not what that says. Carson Tam. Ooh, good strength, speed gains, +8 route running. Avery Leonard. Yeah, I think Avery's going to be ahead of Tam, and we just have to pray that our 5th wide receiver gets 25 targets. Or what I might do is have Tam be 4, and then when he gets 25, move him down to 5th. We'll see. But Hobson got really good gains, which is good. Francis Mack on the back end, catching up by 6, strength by 13. Okay. It's a really good tight end room now. Or tight end room, wide receiver. Speaking of tight end room, so if either of my top 2 guys get injured, we are dead. Allison goes up by 7. Insane blocking and strength boost. Should I have moved him to O-line? Should he have been the one? Catching up by 5 is beautiful. Baxter, strength up by 9. Yeah, he would have made a good O-line also. Good catching. Yep. So we're definitely only going to play with 2 tight ends like we did last year. Caden Polk, a little bit better blocking, a little bit better catching. Kyle Westbrook, sames. All right. Yeah, we need these 2 healthy the whole year. We just need that. O-line, give me the numbers. We're cracked. It has never been so back. +9 Landon Hanley, +7 Jason Drew, +8 Johnny Ruan. I am suddenly no longer worried about the 6 to 8 group of my offensive line. Keep in mind, Mitchell Marshall probably will not play. And I am redshirting Dylan Reynolds, which means that either Bobby Jacobson, Mitchell Marshall might play. Damn. Okay, that part's a little bit annoying. But, I mean, his pass block went up by 7, which is good. And he's our 8th O-lineman. It's going to be fine. The problem that we're going to run into is if you look at my offensive line, of the top 8 players, only one of them is not a senior. So there's that. If Elisha Guy doesn't make an All-American with 103 overall, 103 strength, 109 run block, and 93 pass block, we have failed as a society. DeMar China goes up by a lot. Landon Hanley goes up. A lot of our bad pass blockers got really good pass boosts. Alexander Rush, I mean, honestly, he didn't get that much development, but his strength's 102. Like, that'll kind of sort itself out. Damian Davis, his pass block got worse. That's something to keep in mind on. Johnny Ruin might honestly be our fifth guy over Alexandro. We'll see. Brody Jacobson with a casual +9 overall. That is why you redshirt most of your true freshmen. +5, Marquise Craig, the transfer. +7, Nathaniel Mosley, the transfer. +8 strength, +13 run block. Okay, we could have something here. Eric Payne +5 before he walks in the building. The future might be very bright at O-line. And we need it to be because I'm losing 7 of my 8 top guys. Kicker! Abraham goes up by 2. Power goes up by 3. That's not bad. Pedro, accuracy goes up by 4. Cool. D-line, hit me. Ooh. +13 is insane. His strength is up to 115. Tackling is up to an 89. Pursuit's 101. Yep, he's number 1. Sean, oh man. I mean, it's fine. Like, +9 strength is nothing to scoff at. I really wanted the other numbers to go up. Leo Ball, he's going to play. +10 pursuit is nice. +4 strength. Lawrence Mosley. Yeah, I think I play these two. I play these two and then 2 of Parker Peters. Grant Josue, I don't think is ready. Darian Pitts didn't develop at all, and his potential went down 2 levels. Yeah, so I think definitely a good call keeping Jorge Peters because he'll play now. He'll start. So I think I'm kind of vindicated in that. Pretty good for my D-line room. +2 for Grant, +1 for Darian Pitts is a little awkward, but other than that. Oh, yeah. Guadalupe Hale +7. We're cooking. We're cooking with grease. Vindicated again. Hudson Dalton, my man. Do I redshirt? He would be my 6th linebacker, which means he would play. However, I think I'd rather just play Julius McNeil and let Dalton redshirt. I think that's the move. His potential also went up a level, which is awesome. Yeah, so these 5, no particular order, +5 for Chandler Gordon, by the way. He's up to 114 tackling. Cool. Corner. Now, on the one hand, he has an 88 overall as a true freshman, so I don't really care. On the other hand, he has A potential and he gives me a goose egg. Like, his IQ went up by 4, which is good. Everything else is a 0. So, that does make things a little awkward. Jesus Frazier, 111 speed, 108 man, 100. Yeah, we're still a pretty man-heavy team. I think Anthony Cimental is going to be our 3rd guy, definitely. And then Payne is going to be ahead of Milton. Damian Wade, it looks like, is our 6th. The 73-man coverage is a bit scary. We'll see. These 2 redshirt. Okay, pretty good. Safety. Oh, boy. Yeah. Okay, so Butler is definitely going to redshirt. Rasmussen 1. His zone coverage is now 120. Wilcox 2, who's a better tackler than Rasmussen. And then Bellamy 3. Butler redshirts. Frank, safety off the bench. That's the move. All right, let's look at gains. So biggest gain was Terry Dingle with 13. Haley and Jacobson both got 9. Ruan got 8. A handful of guys got 7. And then worst gain goes to our best recruit in terms of overall, maybe in history of the save, Daniel Payne, with 0. That's just a funny image, you know? Like, his weight went up, he got a little bigger, he got better IQ, he did well on his SATs, apparently, and just turned in a 0. That is kind of funny. Oh, boy. All right, let's advance. All right, looking at game plan, I think we're still going to stay a pass first team, moving away from the sort of run first style. That might kind of hurt with now that our running back room is just better. But, I mean, we just won the national championship with it, so that works. Currently looking pretty good in terms of talent level. Outside of special teams, our worst talent is our quarterback, which is not really where you want to be in life, but it's fine. I mean, yeah, we have to be pass first. We have Mikey Hunter, David Sheffield, Allison Baxter, and that's before you get to any of the depth guys. So 41% of our program, freshmen. So we're going to have 19 seniors graduating after this year, 7 offensive linemen. We do, however, have 7 freshmen or redshirt freshmen offensive linemen. So we have a path of succession here that's really, really good. All right. Game plan install is done. Let's advance to the spring. We also don't have 85 players. All right, first things first, let's depth chart this thing. Quarterback, as advertised, Burks number 1, Funk 2, Emmanuel Cole 3. I think while it would be interesting to give Jesse Funk the starting job, he did really well last year, don't get me wrong. I think the 74 IQ does scare me a lot. And Burks is just a little bit better arm strength, but much better accuracy. So I think Burks is who we roll with. Running back. Okay, so DeSantiago is going to redshirt as a sophomore. Same with Shaw. Now, here comes the tricky part. Greer is going to be my short yardage back. Everything else will be auto. I mean, to be fair, Conrad has better ball carrier vision, better ball security. He's a lot less strong, but his speed is kind of similar. I almost have half a mind to keep Conrad number 1. But I think we'll start out with Greer 1, Conrad 2. And now comes the bit that sucks. Because I think either one will probably want to transfer if they don't get the third job. Dixon has much worse ball carrier vision, slightly better ball security, a little bit better strength, decent better speed. And Dixon also has the benefit of getting 15 rushing touchdowns next year and playing overall, I would say, better than Middleton, though Middleton also no slouch. I think I'll keep Dixon 3. This feels harsh on Middleton, but it is what it is. Then Howell, then Dunham. Wide receiver. Francisco. Red shirts, I am moving down to 5 wide receivers. Just so that guys like Tam and Leonard can get all the playing time in the free world. Now, what is the order? I think Mikey Hunter at 1, obviously. And then it becomes a question of at 2, do I want speed or do I want catching ability? I think with Hunter up top, I'll take catching ability. So Marvin Wallace 2. David Sheffield at 3, I think is fine. He didn't do all that much last season, but I still think it's worth it having him up there. Carson Tam at 4. I think fourth wide receiver could get 25 targets, no issue. Avery Leonard at 5. I hope he doesn't complain about playing time, but if he does, I might move him and Tam or him and Sheffield around and we'll be fine. So, also keep in mind that Avery Leonard has now been paid $2.6 million and never stepped on the field yet. So there's that. And then Francis Mack, Patrick Hobson for depth. Tight end, we're moving down to 2 tight ends. I can't spread out the snaps. Like, it has to be Allison and Baxter as that 1-2 punch. I think Allison's going to stay number 1 so that I have the stronger, better blocker since catching is the same. Baxter then should get 30% snaps, no problem. O-line. Dylan Reynolds, I'm going to redshirt. And the other reason I'm doing this is I'm losing 7 of my top 8 O-linemen. So I need to give guys as much time as possible. Okay, Elisha Guy number 1, done. Jamari Menchaca number 2, done. Landon Hanley number 3, yes. Jason Drew number 4, yes. Now 5 through 8 is where things could move. What do I got? I got great run blocker, good pass blocker, pass block. I think Johnny Ruin is either 5 or 6. I think Alexander Rush at 5 I'm fine with because of his insane strength. So I think Rush 5, Ruan 6, Davis 7, Eminem 8. And then Jacobson, first man off the bench over Wesley. I agree. Let's redshirt these guys on the back end. I think that's fine. I am a little worried that Davis and Marshall might get our boys sacked quite a bit, but I don't think it's worth it to throw Marquise Craig out there. So yeah, I think that's the list. All right, defensive line. Both Ball and Mosley are going to play. I have no one to redshirt, which is kind of funny. Dingle 1, honestly, I liked Sean Ballard a lot. He did really well last season. I think Ball goes ahead of him. I'm 81 block shed, though. Never mind. Ballard 2. Ball or Mosley, give me, I think Ball, Mosley 4. Parker over Peters, give me the block shed, give me the pursuit, give me the tackling. And then Felipe Grant, first man off the bench, Joe Sway behind him. Cool. State 6. Linebacker, Hudson Dalton, red shirts. As will Michael Bonner and, oh yeah, Skylar Childress. I didn't look to see how he developed with his all mid-60s. Tackling went up by 1, pursuit didn't move, man coverage went up by 2, zone didn't move, IQ went up by 9. He also got slower. Okay, suffice to say, I don't think this was worth nuking my recruiting rating. But you never know. All right. So, again, kind of a thin linebacker group. I'm tempted to go down to 5. But I think Julius McNeil is good enough where he can dance. I'll see. I am tempted to go down to 5. Corners, I'm already at 5. That may change. Donovan Yoder and Brandon Sutton, red shirt. Okay. So, I think the question here becomes, how high is Anthony Cimental in his insane zone coverage? I think Lucas and Frazier are 1 and 2, so I think Anthony is 3. Do I take Payne? Do I redshirt Payne? No, 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 no. Uh, I think I'll have Payne over Milton, which might be a little harsh on Milton, but he didn't play all that much last year, so I think 5 for him is fine. And then Damian Wayne can be our first guy off the bench. Ezekiel Terrell behind him. Yeah. Yeah. I don't want to redshirt Payne and then risk Wade or Terrell getting that playing time. Safety. Trent Butler, red shirts. Do I drop to 3 safeties? I think I do. I'm going to drop to 3 safeties and accept the fact that Frank and Hutchinson might want to transfer. But I think that's okay because Rasmussen is going to graduate. Wilcox might declare for the draft. Then we have Trent Butler to throw in there. Though I might move Butler to corner because I'm losing Frazier, Cimentel, and Milton at corner next year. So that is kind of up in the air. Kicker is Abraham. Punter is Abraham. Return specialist David Sheffield with his 106 speed and 111 evasion. Do I like that over Mikey Hunter, who was their return man 2 years ago? I think Mikey did pretty well. I'll give it to Mikey and then we'll see what happens. All right, so that is my depth chart. I think my only 2 areas of concern, if Allison or Baxter get injured, we are dead at tight end. And if one of my top linebackers get injured, we are similarly in serious trouble if like Julius McNeil or Rohan Lewis need to play a lot. Other than that, I think we're pretty injury proof. Even at D line, I think Felipe Grant could step in and do a job. I think D line we should be okay. So, looking at that after I move everyone around, 51% of our starters are seniors, 31% juniors, 7% sophomore, 3 freshmen already starting. We're moving. We're shaking. Okay. Let me sim the practices and the trainings, as is my want. Now, let's talk recruiting really quick. We need to recruit a quarterback because our starter is a JUCO and both of our backups might transfer. So we need a quarterback. Running back, we're okay. Wide receiver, we're okay. Tight end, we need to recruit somebody. Offensive line, I am putting with a big old question mark because, let's be frank, we're losing 7, seniors. But our depth is looking okay. Kicker, we're fine. Defensive line, I'm putting on there. Even though I have guys like Mosley and Grant, I think are going to be solid. I don't have any sophomores. And in 2 years, I'm going to lose all 5 of these guys. So I think D-line is still a need. Linebacker, I would say yes, because our depth is a little more disconcerting. Corner is tricky. Like, I'm losing Frazier, Cimentel, and Milton. But Lucas, Payne, Wade, Ezekiel can all step in. Safety, we're fine, but there's always the risk that they want to transfer. I'll just put corner/safety. But either one of those needs to be depth. It shouldn't be a top-down thing. All right, let's look at recruiting. Give me the recommended targets. Oh my! Give me. Well, I found one of the superstars. Oh boy. I'm just gonna keep scouting until I know his accuracy. I mean, yeah, that's him. Like, there he is. Done. What's the interest? 100 in me and 100 in OSU. Okay. I mean, that's there you go. 5-star QB, 87s in arm strength and accuracy, 89 in IQ. There you go. Wide receiver, I don't think we really need. JUCO O lineman, yes. 67 pass block. 67. Let me just look at O line really quick. 67, dude. Really? 59 pass block. D minus pass block. Oh boy. I mean, I'll target him because he looks like a pretty good O lineman, but good God. Okay, O lineman might be a little bit terrifying here. Defensive line, Mr. Richmond. I don't hate. C minus potential is a bit ugly. You just don't look that good. Sanford. Oh. He can't cover. He's not that fit. Actually, I'll scout him one more time. What's his physical? 16. Yeah, I'm out. Miguel Stevenson. No. Ooh, Trevor Bush. Now there we go. There's our hard hitting tackler. Found him. Abraham Robertson could also play corner. Yeah, I think Robertson's who we go after there. Or Roberson, excuse me. Could play corner, could play safety. We're good there. Wide receivers, we don't need to touch. Give me your potential. Maybe. Pencil you in as a maybe. No. Already discussed. I'll add Wade to the list. I'll add Abrams. And then these are the guys I'm going to send to camp just so I can see their potential without having to worry about scouting them. Let me actually look at tight end really quick because I missed that. F plus potential is tragic. So this is an athlete, Isaac Floyd, and then if I remember correctly, when I target said athlete, I have to kind of indicate what position he would be, and it looks like the game likes him at. Hold on. Let me do it this way. Let me look at the athletes. Having to scroll down on the positions is going to get me. I wanted points ahead, didn't I? Oh boy. Can I search by name, please? No. That's a shame. Where's my recommended guys? Athlete. Isaac Floyd. Okay, so I just straight up 1 point ahead. There he is. So I target him as an athlete. Aha! I can change his position. Yeah, so these are his projected overalls at various positions. Tight end is 68, which is why he's here. However, he's got, looks like, okay tackling block shed ability. His speed ain't bad. I think I'll chuck him at linebacker for now and see how that shakes out. So, and then everyone whose position I don't know, we will invite camp. So 3 camp invites. Then actually, let me send to these guys to camp that I'm really close on. Get that out of the way. All right, I am going to first do pitches because I completely forgot about those. We're doing great. All right, so I think that gives us a pretty good spread. Let me. It looks like a couple top QBs are interested, but I think the whole focus has to be on Javier. Like he's loyal, which means if I redshirt him for a year, he won't complain. If let's say our boy Anthony Burks just balls out for a year, we'll see. I am gonna advance the week, and then that is where I will stop this video. I will do the rest of the recruiting off stream and then pick up next video at the start of the season, kind of recap recruiting, and then go from there. So, thank you all for watching. I know the transfer portal was a little bit odd just because we couldn't get, you know, we had to get like 20 players, and obviously that's kind of insurmountable. I'm very excited to see what we do next season. We're gonna have listen, the sheer talent at wide receiver. Like we're gonna go just gangbusters on him, throwing the ball 70 times a game, letting it fly. Combine that with a now much better running back room with Rafael Gray up top, Jackson Conrad behind him, and then the 1-2 punch of Middleton and Dixon. I think that will be very, very good for us. But thank you all for watching. I will see you next time.